Big push for Atmanirbhar Bharat as India permits up to 74% FDI in defence manufacturing in a major push for Atmanirbhar Bharat in the defence sector. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the government has taken a decision to permit up to 74% FDI in the defence manufacturing through automatic route. We aim to increase defence manufacturing in India, said the PM, adding that India can be a reliable weapons supplier to friendly nations. He also said that the government will consolidate India's position as a net security provider in the region. Addressing the Atmanirbhar Bharat Defence Industry Outreach webinar through video conference, the PM said that for many years, India has been one of the biggest defence importers. India has the capability of being a reliable weapons supplier. When India got independence, it had the great capability in defence manufacturing and an ecosystem of defence manufacturing established over 100 years. Unfortunately, this subject couldn't get requisite attention, he added. Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat also said that India's armed forces are committed to handhold the domestic industry in developing next-generation military platforms and equipment to make the country self-reliant in defence manufacturing. Addressing the seminar, General Rawat said nothing will give the armed forces greater satisfaction than fighting and coming out victorious in wars with indigenous technology and equipment. He further said that the country has been facing numerous security threats and challenges and that in the near future they are only going to increase, adding that the country has the capability to deal with them. Will consolidate India's position as a net security provider in the region. Elaborating on various policy initiatives by the Narendra Modi-led BJP government to promote the domestic defence industry, CDS Rawat said the strength of the Defence Research and Development Organisation, DRDO, should be utilised in bringing out new equipment and technologies. India has been making a push for achieving self-reliance in defence manufacturing, with the centre outlining a broad roadmap to make the country a hub of defence manufacturing with several policy initiatives to promote the domestic defence industry. On August 9, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh announced that India will stop the import of 101 weapons and military platforms like transport aircraft, light combat helicopters, conventional submarines, cruise missiles and sonar systems by 2024, following which the DRDO identified 108 military systems and subsystems for the domestic industry to design, Defence Ministry develop to host Aero India in its traditional venue of Bengaluru from February the 3rd to the 5th. The Defence Ministry has taken an in-principle decision to host the next edition of Aero India, considered Asia's largest aerospace exhibition, in its traditional venue of Bengaluru from February the 3rd to the 5th next year, notwithstanding the coronavirus pandemic, official sources said on Friday. The ministry took the decision to hold the biennial event as scheduled following inputs from the domestic defence industry and global aerospace majors, they said. The sources said Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has already held a number of internal meetings on hosting the mega event. It was decided that the event will be hosted while taking maximum precaution against the coronavirus pandemic, said a source. Since its inception in 1996, Bengaluru has been hosting the event. The sources said a significant number of global defence majors and big investors are expected to participate in the event, besides official delegations from several countries. The Defence Ministry plans to showcase its initiatives in promoting India's defence manufacturing at the event. The government has unveiled a number of policy initiatives in the last few months with an aim to boost domestic defence production. On August 9, the Defence Minister announced that India will stop import of 101 weapons and military platforms like transport aircraft, light combat helicopters, conventional submarines, cruise missiles and sonar systems by 2024. In a related development, the DRDO on Monday identified 108 military systems and subsystems like navigation radars, tank transporters and missile canisters for the domestic industry to design, develop and manufacture. The premier organization said it will also provide support to industries for design, development and testing of these systems on a requirement basis. It has set a target of next year in developing the 108 systems and subsystems. India is one of the largest importers of arms globally. According to estimates, the Indian Armed Forces are projected to spend around $130 billion in capital procurement in the next 5 years. The government now wants to reduce dependence on imported military platforms and decided to support domestic defense manufacturing. The Defense Ministry has set a goal of a turnover of $25 billion (1.75 lakh crore rupees) in defense manufacturing in the next 5 years. That included an export target of $5 billion (35,000 crore rupees) worth of military hardware. Government hikes funds for border road development projects. The Union government has increased funding for border road development projects and raised the allocation for maintenance of border roads, a development that follows a military standoff with the Chinese People's Liberation Army (PLA) in the eastern Ladakh sector, as it attempts to boost infrastructure in frontier areas. Funding for road development projects in border areas has been raised from 340 crore to 440 crore in the current financial year. The budget for maintenance of border roads has gone up from 120 crore to 220 crore. This is the second revision of funding for border roads in the fiscal year. In June, the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways raised the allocation for border road maintenance by 4 times to 120 crore. The government has been trying to reinforce infrastructure in border areas. The Chinese and Indian armies have been embroiled in a tense standoff along the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh sector, where a brutal brawl in the Galwan Valley on June 15 led to the deaths of 20 Indian and an unspecified number of Chinese soldiers. According to documents reviewed by HITE, the additional allocation of 100 crore for general works to the Border Roads Organization (BRO) is for projects under the Chardham Pariyojana, aimed at improving connectivity of the 4 pilgrimage centers of Kedarnath, Badrinath, Yamunotri and Gangotri in Uttarakhand. Works for the Chardham Pariyojana are being implemented by 3 executing agencies of the Transport Ministry, the Uttarakhand State Public Works Department, BRO, and the National Highway and Infrastructure Development Corporation Limited, NHIDCL. BRO functions under the Defense Ministry and is tasked with construction and maintenance of roads in the border areas, classified as General Staff (GS) roads in line with defense requirements. GS roads are developed and maintained through funds provided by the Border Roads Development Board through the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. Strategic Affairs Analyst Brahmachal Lane said, this raises 2 issues. 1. Given that the construction of any border road takes several years because of the treacherous terrain, why are authorities waking up to the need for increased funding in the midst of China's aggression? And second, even with the increased allocations, the budget seems inadequate to build the kind of border infrastructure India needs to defend itself. In June, the Transport Ministry had allocated 1,691 crore for highway development by BRO in Jammu and Kashmir and Uttarakhand for 2020-21. Of this, 1,351 crore rupees was sanctioned for road works in Jammu and Kashmir and 340 crore for Uttarakhand. The Transport Ministry also allocated an additional 71 crore for highway works in Ladakh, Sikkim, and Tamil Nadu. This time around, the ministry has also increased the allocation for roads in the northeast under its road development program from 290 crore to 390 crore. The allocation to the regional offices of Assam and Arunachal Pradesh has increased from 140 crore and 150 crore, respectively, to 190 crore and 200 crore, taking the total funding for incurring expenditure on the Special Accelerated Road Development Program for Northeast, SADPNE, in the financial year 2020 breaks out between security forces, militants in JK's Shopian district. An encounter broke out between security forces and militants in Jammu and Kashmir's Shopian district on Friday, police said. Security forces had launched a cordon and search operation in the Kilira area of the district following information about the presence of militants, a police official said. The search operation turned into an encounter after the militants fired on a search party of the forces, who retaliated, he said. Exchange of fire is going on, the official said, adding that additional forces have been rushed to the area and further details are awaited.